Video is to review the drawings made by Sean Miyashita and to review them. First, I'm going to start by looking at the elevation schematic page, and mainly what I like to do is do a cleanup of this, and I am going to clean up the wires and cables so that I see best fit and how to make this more cleaner and easier to understand. So let's begin. Right now I'm just analyzing the drawing itself and seeing what we can do. Stage ceiling, that flows, that flows. What I'm going to do is, this is a stage and this is a stage ceiling. So I'm going to move these there. First I'm going to look at my layers and I'm going to look at what we have here. AV rack, wire and cable, good job. Blocks, okay. And locations. So first thing I want to do is this. I'm going to take our locations and I want to move this guy here. Then it's over, it will be here. I'll come back to my AV blocks. I'm going to just move the cable management up here for now so it's out of the way. Now I'm going to move these guys here for now, just like so. Go back to my locations and the AV rack. I want to make it larger. Make that our focal because that's where majority of our products will be. Just match it to that as much as possible. It's not going to match because it is a little different, but there we go. Now what I'm going to do is hide the AV rack for now. And then I mainly want to focus on the wiring schematics. So I want to clean this up to make it as clean as possible. So blocks, I'm going to click into my blocks. I'm going to move this here over. And let's move these. This and this will technically be moved to our AV rack. There it is. Let's hide it again. And then let's go back to our blocks. And we'll do something like that. And I try to keep everything uniform as far as heights go so that that matches there. We'll clean up the wire and cable. I'm just trying to get my blocks lined up as best as possible. Then what I also might do is grab all the blocks and let's shift them down actually. Oops. Or these blocks anyway. And let's shift them down as much as possible. And let's try to use up as much space as we can of our here and here. back to our blocks. Then I try to make it as tight as possible is how I like to see this. The tighter it is, the cleaner it will look. And I try to keep the space in between blocks as even as possible. So like the space in between here and here, I would like them to match somewhat. And this here doesn't need to be so far. You could probably line it with that one as well. Okay, then we're gonna go to our wire and cable. That's kind of about where I'd like the blocks in this section anyway to begin. And let's line this guy up with that height as well. And then our spacing is, it is what it is. So now we're gonna go to our wire and cable, and I'm gonna start with this guy here. How would I clean this up? PC, Cat5 bulk, COVID. Just because it's taking up so much room, I'm gonna actually shrink this. Like so. And I'm gonna drag this so that it's straight like that. So the text doesn't always have to follow the same text format of it being exactly 6-point font. I will sometimes change it accordingly if it just makes the drawing look cleaner, like so. Then we are going to go here, Phoenix screen out. Same with this, what I like to do is just keep the lines as much as possible straight. Although now I do understand why you are going there. So let's just do Apple Z. And then what I'll do is maybe do something like this and then bring this to this top there. And something like that for now. And the same with this. This is where using your grids are also nice so that you can keep your cables as clean and orientated as possible. So what I might do is go to your settings, grid, on. And now you can see these grids so you can kind of get a better lineup. Now what I might also do is, because this is the screen, I would like to have these next to each other. So let's go back to our layers, blocks, and I'm going to move this like so. So they're, now you see how they're closer to each other and are more uniform. Wire, cable, space it, keep it as spaced. I'm trying to match the space in between here that matches the space in between here. So now you see how much more cleaner that looks. Then let's see where you have this going. This, I would have it come in through here like so. And maybe follow that regiment. And something like this. And this can come like that. Now this, what we could have done, now I'm looking at this, we could actually keep this at 6-point. And here's how I'll do it. I'll do like this, and then go back to our blocks, and then this, I would move over a little, like so. And that way there's more space in between those two. And what I might do is move this to match that edge. This edge matches this edge, that way it stays uniform. So we have that going now. Then let's go back to our wire and cable. And I see this, I would bring it like that. Where is it going to? So this, we need to come in between. Now being that this is tight, now I'm noticing in between here and here it's really tight. So what I'm going to do is go back to my blocks and move them up just a little. And this will allow us to move. Here, I'll show you exactly. What I'm trying to do is make enough space to fit the cables in between the blocks, up and down like so, in between this block and this block, and yet have the text in between. So now we'll go back to our wire and cable, and something like that. And I would like to line it up. We'll use that there. And I'll come back up like so. And now you can see, oh. So I find that sometimes the lines get tight like this. And a way to fix this is like that. And now you can see the text will fit. I'm going to try to space it so that the space in between is even. And then now we can put this back in between there, and maybe we'll have to bring this out to here so that it can fit evenly in between. That looks pretty clean. And I'll do roughly the same here. And let's see if that'll fit. That just fits. And then match this up. So you see this, when I move it one click, it goes back. So what I found is a trick is if you move it all the way to someplace else and then put it back to where you want it exactly to go, now it'll stay. And here we go. So now see, I aligned this and these lines to match, and you see how much more cleaner that looks? Then we're gonna work our way to here. So let's see this. So that's this line, HDMI. So what I might do on this one, just because I would move this block down just till that cable becomes straight like so. Now in this case, we are going to have to go with a smaller font. We can't. So we're going to go with a 4-point. Oops. Just so that it can fit like so. And the same with this. And what I'll do is, I'm going to look at this. HDMI 1, HDMI 2. We don't really need this one, so I'm going to go back to our blocks. I'm going to cut this out for now. Apple X, and what I'll do is, this is what I do. I'll just make a duplicate shape just for the time being. Apple V, X, Apple V, just so I have it saved there. Then I'm going to cut this. V, X, Apple V. And then I'll go back to my wire and cable. Oops. And we'll drag that there, and drag that there. And then this here, to me, doesn't look as neat, so we'll just do something like that. This one's tight, so it's really hard to do, but we'll get it as close as possible. Something like that. And then now that I have this block, I'm just gonna cut this back and paste it. Now I'm done with that, I can delete this block. Okay, you can see how we cleaned that up a little. And then maybe this text, I might move it a little, right, just so it's better space in between the two red lines, but it's a little difficult with this, so we'll get as much as we can. So you know what, we'll leave it as is. Okay, so we're moving along. Then we're gonna clean up next is, so this HD base T cable is going where? To the projector. So what I might do on this is move this down a little. Or I have another idea. We'll keep that as is. And what I'm going to do is take this RJ45, exit, cut it, and paste it down here. I'm going to go back to my wire and cable and then have it flow downwards instead. I'm not sure if this is a guarantee what I want to do, but I'm testing it out. Oops. And then use that there. Do something like that. And then what I might do is pull these back like this now. And I'm just using the grid. You can see how I'm using it to kind of align them to flow. Like so. Or maybe we'll start with here. Like so. That keeps it a little uniform. Then we're going to go back to this block. I'm going to cut it, Apple V, cut this, paste that there. Then we'll go back to my wire and cable. And then what I like to do is this block, we need to separate it a little bit just so we can read the text. And once we have it aligned to the top, these should automatically align. Wire and cable. And I might move them if possible, yeah, just so it's clean, just a little bit cleaner. So it's not exactly, there we go. So this here is something I see as an error looking at this block. This is an SP bus line, obviously going into SP bus 1. Technically, we should be using SP bus 2 here. So SP bus 2 goes back out. And then because we don't need it, we can delete this entire row because we already have SP bus 1, SP bus 2, so I'm deleting that. Okay, clean, clean, clean. Then we're going to look at this here. So that looks a lot better. I'm just trying to see how would I line up that stage ramp wall. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is put this back. Let's go back to our AV locations. And let's bring this down, something like this, as close as possible. And then let's go ahead and move this here, line it up. let's do something like this. Wire and cable. Blocks. I would like to have it aligned with this edge, aligned with this edge. So that's what I'm doing there. You can see how tight it's getting, so I don't like seeing so much extra space if possible. So what I might do is like that. Location. Like so. Keep that like so. And keep that about there. And what we can do is drop this down a little. And then we'll bring back the AV. You know what? Let's hide the rest. Hide that and that. Oh, and the wire and cable. And we'll bring back the AV rack. And then we are going to bring it up here. And what I might do is put these as accessories on the side of it instead. Move that like so, then we can unhide everything else so we can see what's going on. AV rack, let's actually bring it above the AV rack so it's still within the AV rack quarters. Maybe something like this. And then this, I'm going to bring down to match the height of that. Okay. And then here's something I like to do for fun. I'm going to show you how I usually do this as well. So this here, this AV rack should have text capabilities. If we go into the AV rack itself, text location, top, bottom, where is it, bro? I think maybe you deleted it by accident, but usually there's text. Hide. Oh, here it is. So there it is. Center. So we don't need this. So we're going to just go OFE middle Atlantic AV rack. We'll go 22U space 1. And then this we can delete. We don't need that. And then what I might do is this chief what I like to do sometimes is actually put the picture. So I'm going to find this. Here's something. We'll see if it works. So you can also search for images within Lucidchart. So we'll go image. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll go search, and we'll go images, and we will go Chief PTSW 50. And we'll see what it finds. There they are. Here they are. Chief rack screws. Not what I want. They actually have a jar, so let's look at it. Chief PTSW 50. Images. Oh, here they are. So I'm just going to copy this image. And I'm going to paste. And then I'm going to shrink it down like so. And then we'll call this rack screws 50 piece. And then this, I may get rid of the border. Where is it? Line. Here it is. No line. And then I would group these apogee, or you can right click and hit group. And now those are grouped. Now you can see how to build the rack. I like the way you did this here. That's a good job. What I might do is find a better picture for this though, for the network room controller, so just so it's more descriptive. So SP controls NRC. Maybe, I don't know if there is a straight on shot. PX2. I don't see one that's a straight shot. Let's go to SP controls themselves. I guess they don't really have a better, I'm trying to just look for a picture that's a straight shot of it. But it seems like they don't. These are not the greatest pictures. Sometimes it's the hardest thing to do is find the right pictures that you need. We'll see if we can make this work. Copy image. Okay, here's that group. Apple V. And then I'm going to edit mask. Oh, crop image. They changed it. It used to be called edit mask. What I'm going to do is go like this. And something like this. You used to be able to rotate the picture as well, but it doesn't seem like I can too much. So, SP controls. It's not going to be the greatest. We'll do something like that. You see how much better the picture looks versus the other picture? That's mainly what we want to do. Now when building AV racks, your goal is to put the heaviest items on the bottom. With that being said, I'm not sure if they already have the AV racks in here or these drawers. If so, then we should label them as OFE. If not, we would need to add them. And then this here, I would try to match the font because it looks like it's a little different. Your grouping seems to also be pretty archaic, to be honest. Like, you have a lot of things grouped here. Look at the, right up here, it shows you what groups you're in. But you can see, look, for me to get all the in there, look how much groups I have to get into just to get to that one guy. But this here, I'm just going to match the font of everything else, which is the 4-point, just so it stays uniform. And I'm not sure if we need to label this, or is this a rack within the, or drawer within the rack already? If so, we need to label that. Then I'm going to just escape out of the grouping. And then we'll bring back, blocks. Bring back the cable management. I usually try to put this within the schematics area. I'm not sure if it'll fit, so let's see. Oh, it'll fit right here, perfect. And that's how I would roughly clean up the schematic. I didn't save, or let's see, I think you sent it to me. So let's take a look at it. Download. So here you can see your drawing compared to a touched up drawing, as far as you see the cable flow, how everything is pretty simple and clean with the cables. It just flows. And that's the goal of design. You want to have your cables flowing as clean as possible. Like this here, I'm looking at it. I can probably tighten this up. Just this looks like it's only 2 blocks separating them. You see this? That's why I like grids. 1, 2. So I'm going to do the same here. I only want 2. And that way it stays very uniform. So power, that's good. Outlet install. So then this I would label. What is this for? Outlet install for projector. Chief RPM AU. Okay, that's a lens. And this here, we don't need the outlet here. We don't need this outlet. I was just verifying. That's the delay. We don't need this outlet in the AV rack because the AV rack already is power. But what I'm thinking of doing is I want to use this block. I'm going to get rid of the yellow color, put back white. And then what I want to do is just do a note. Mount into AV. Mount into here. So I'm just going to copy that. Mount into, and I may do something like this. And you know what? We don't even need the, let's get rid of the line. Just so that we know it's a note. And then what I'll do is get rid of none. So with that text being said, yeah, let's go back to center align. I'm going to go back to center align. And then maybe we will do a fill of, just because it's a note, we want to make sure people see this. And if you notice, it's faded, and that's because our opacity is. So that's fine. I like the 50% works. And then we'll do the same thing, hold shift, and none. That way we know where it's mounted. And I would have liked to, if we go back to locations, like I know this is Apple Shift G, a group, if I remember properly. This here, how you did this. Yeah. So what I might do now is this, because I want this to outline the entire AV rack, right? So we'll go here. So what I might do is this. First off, I want it to outline this entire AV rack. So AV rack, move it down a little, like so. Okay. And what I might do is use guides. To help me line up how I'm going to line this up. There. Then go back to locations. I don't like that text there, so I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to just go Apple Shift D. And this is where you need a user zooming in. It'll help you get. Go like that. Hold Shift to get it high enough. Apple Shift D. Where did it go? Like. And what I'll do is get rid of that text there, that text there. I'll push Shift D, rid of that there. And then, or you know, yeah, or we can just delete that one and extend this. And then we'll fix this to be more center. Oh, that's why there's two of these. And what we'll do is view, guides, clear guides. And then what I want to see is, can I move? Yeah, there we go. Now I want to put that there like so. Now I'm going to grab that by holding shift, that, and that, and that. And then I'm going to group them. Group. And then this one here, I'd want to make sure that this is lined up with that one. So roughly there. AV rack. And then this here doesn't line up, so I'm going to do something like that. And then we can even do a little bit more detail by going here back to our blocks, highlight this, we'll bring this more centered like so. And what we'll do is take this wire and cable, instead of it coming straight down like that, we'll have it go, we'll break it. Or we'll leave it as is. And then what I might do is put a couple of labels, text labels. So I'm going to go back to here, and we don't have any text labels. So instead of like always having to find text labels, what I'll do is I'll just copy items with, instead of having to like go back. So like I know this here, I want to copy, I want to paste here. And then what I'm going to do is just call this like laptop or AV devices. And then maybe shift enter IE for an example, laptops, Blu-rays, laptops, dot cams, and DVD and media players. And then it's going to be really tight to fit all of that, so let's see if we can go left a line, and then maybe we'll break this up here like this. So this is where you just get creative and look at your drawings and how you can make them as clean as possible. And then this, I'm going to do it in green because it's technically green devices. It would be, what you call that? Video devices. So maybe we'll call this video devices. I'll make this a little bigger. So it's a little tight, but here's how I'm going to fix this. Our locations, I'm looking at our blocks, we can actually widen it. So we're going to come here like so. And same with this, if possible. I don't know if it is possible with this one. Yes, it is. It looks like it's roughly aligned, and this is how you always can check, use your guides. It's not, so I'm going to grab this a little bit more to right there. View, guides, clear guides. Then go back to my blocks, move this, and then for fun, we can just connect. Oops, wrong way. I think that's about it. So here we go. Let's do, so I hit Apple 0 will automatically bring it to full size. And then we can, so let's compare it now compared to your original drawing. That's what I touched up. Here is your original drawing. So you can see just the simple things that we've done is we moved the AV rack up above. So now it's up above it. These are all the wiring schematic part of it. And then we kind of created a flow where everything flows cleanly. The lines, as little breaks as possible is what I do with the lines, if you can see. And I try to just make things flow as cleanly as possible. And that's how I would clean up that system from the schematic side. Plan view.